My name is Jaela Pipkins, and my whole year was about getting EKA to relate to social studies. So the focus of my project combined two aspects of social studies, including civics or civil rights and geography. So why I chose this topic, I've always had a passion for justice, and there was a lot going on in the news and still is, and I was always curious about what my rights are and for other people who are vulnerable for that. And I wanted to educate my fellow students so that they could help as well. And for the geography side, I love learning about other cultures. Shout out to Basura for teaching me Spanish, still working on it. And I wanted to connect with middle school and elementary, and that was a great way of doing it through the GOB. So what I plan to do, I wanted to start out hard with the Constitution Day, teach classes throughout the year, and end with my civil rights panel and the geography bees. So on the left there is the Constitution Day lesson plan. I sent it out. It was sent out so that the advisors could do it during picture day when we had advisory all in the morning. And Miss Quino's class, we did it, and on the right is our Constitution Convention of what our founding values. Some of them are free education, equality, green energy, women's rights, and obey the laws, my dude. Throughout the year, after that, I was teaching classes. First, I taught government, the Bill of Rights, and then after that, I started working with the 7th graders. They were learning history, and at that time, they were just starting to learn about the Constitution, so it was perfect that I came in, and we would meet there were so many of them, we had to split it up, so 30 minutes for one half and 30 minutes for the other, every Wednesday, once a week. And then in November, I started teaching the 8th graders about geography, and we would play games at the same schedule. And I also started a study hall, just in case anyone needed help. I was there, and they could come to me. So the teachers really expressed that they wanted me to do supplemental things like games and Kahoots and worksheets that were fun. So I would do Kahoots, and the top 5 would get candy, or I would make a worksheet, and the top people who got it right and fastest got candy. Or we would play geography games online, and each time they got a better score, they would get candy, and it just made me really happy to see that they were trying. So, February 13th, I did my civil rights panel. I had this idea since junior year that I wanted to have a group of educated people on civil rights to come talk to you, because I felt like they could do it better than I could, and I think they did. So I had Amy Rose from the American Civil Liberties Union. She's their legal director. She's on the left. And I had David Osmond, who's on the right. He actually integrated into an Alabama elementary school in the 1960s. And I had Anita Revilla, a professor at UNLV, who has a PhD in race and ethnic studies. I felt it went really well. Clap if you think it went well. So that was my first big event, or one of them. Then I had the privilege to do the first ever 4th and 5th grade geography bee, and that was on January 25th. So to create the finalists, I created a test that went out to 4th through 8th graders, and then the top scores were in the GOB, and for the middle school, anyone who got a 19 or higher got candy. Clap if you got candy. Who doesn't love candy? So I was really surprised with the 4th and 5th graders. They were super smart. I know you guys weren't there, but it was really awesome. And then I did another GOB, and that I did prep sessions with them so that they didn't feel as nervous. And we tested on the National Geographic practice site, and they got candy every time they got a better score. And I feel like it helped them. That's the picture of me with the winners up on top. Shout out to Ashley Abrego. And both the winners from the 4th and 5th grader and the middle school one made it to the state level, so congratulations to them. So why is it important to learn about civil rights and geography? It's good to step out of your comfort zone and learn about different people, different cultures, and the actual guiding values of where we live, because most of us don't know. And it's very important that you know this as you go into adulthood, and even as children, to know your rights. And after you know your rights, you can then advocate for others, because your voice does matter. So, in the beginning of the year, I would say I'm a nut. I had to learn the Bill of Rights. I don't know it all by heart, but I know it pretty well, that I can help people, and that's the main part. Had to learn a lot about organizing large events, because I did a lot of them, and preparing and engaging lessons, and how to motivate people using candy. Trust me, it works, for future reference. And leadership. Going up in front of crowds and teaching people who maybe don't know you is hard, and you need to be a leader to do that. Also collaborating with different teachers and different administration to get things done. And also asking for help. I'm a person that doesn't like to ask for help, and I had to ask for help to set up these things, so thank you to anyone who helped me. All right, so if you didn't learn anything from my project thus far, we're going to do a quiz where hopefully you learned something. All right, I'm going to read the question, then read the answers. You're going to raise your hand for what you think is the answer. First question. What historic document is the Bill of Rights a part of? A, the Declaration of Independence, or B, the Constitution? Raise your hand for A. Raise your hand for B. That is correct. It is the Constitution.
Come on, Adrian.
All right. Question number 2. Which one is both a continent and a country? A, Africa, or B, Australia? Raise your hand for Africa. Raise your hand for Australia. Australia is correct. All right, last question. This one's a little bit tricky, so I'll give you a little bit more time. What is the 8th Amendment of the Bill of Rights? A, bail can't be high, no cruel or unusual punishment. B, right to speedy trial, lawyer, and to know the charge. All right, raise your hand if you think it's A. Raise your hand if you think it's B. The correct answer is A. Shout out to government for knowing that. Ms. McIver, you teach people. B is actually the 6th Amendment. Before I go, I'd like to leave you with something. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Thank you.